Our subject tonight, as always, is Torah and what it brings to all people, as I said, to the whole world in the best, most beautiful possible way. We've been through quite a lot of parshas together. One of them lately, as I said to you, was trusting God, focusing your mind in the right direction, training your mind to think good thoughts as opposed to the opposite, God forbid, and to improve ourselves as individuals and the world around us. That's really the goal of Judaism, of Torah, of Hashem's Torah. We also went through the best way to get into that world properly is to start with learning to be truly humble. Not, I'm not so good at it. Truly humble, where you really are connecting with Hashem and what He wants by trying to emulate Moses. And as I've said many times, if you can't emulate Moses, at least try and emulate the way he behaved. Incredibly humble. I mentioned once to you that one of the reasons for Moses' humility was that he thought that if Hashem downloaded to somebody else what he had downloaded and gave to Moshe, these incredible insights, spiritually and otherwise, into the world we live in, onto this earth, he felt that that person would have done the job better than him. Very few people think like that. Very few people think they usually think, if he'd given me the chance, I would have done the job better. Moses was the opposite. He basically thought that if somebody else was given those abilities, they would do the job better than him. Then we moved through a whole lot of parshas. Mainly all the parshas we've been through are to do good, to be good, to think good, to train your minds in the right direction, to carry on striving in a human way to make all humanity better for learning what you have to teach, which is Hashem's Torah. Then we went through two parshas where we told you how not to be. Don't follow after the guys that may lead you astray and people that are not doing what they should do. And once you'd have learned the lesson, you'd think, by then, they haven't learned it yet by now. In this day and age, people are falling for the same mistakes. One of the themes that comes out in this parsha is, let me give you a background to the parsha and you'll see the theme. Balak, who is now king of Moab at that time, 3,300 years ago, calls Bilam to curse the Jewish people. Both of them shouldn't have cursed the Jewish people. Their lives were there. They were alive because of the Jewish people. You go and kill the guy that gave you life. You go and kill the guy that gave you help. Yaakov, our father, went to help Laban. All the things that they learned, all they got, certainly part of Balak's history was from Moab. Who was from Moab? Lot, who was Avram's cousin. And Ruth, the great Ruth. Ruth came from Moab. So we have injected into these people good things, and we have received from other nations very beautiful people. But they still not have learned the lesson that comes out here. Why would Balak ask Bilam? They don't want to fight with Moab. They know that they're not going to fight it. No, Sichon and Og have to come out with a sword against Moshe. Everybody's got to fight us, hurt us, for no reason. That is the problem that unfortunately still exists today. We saw it in the Holocaust a few years ago. I was born during the Holocaust. And I'm telling you that it's ridiculous. We were trying to improve the countries.
That's not a few years ago.
No, it's about... okay. All right. So it's... look, I was born in 44. The World War ended in 45, middle of 45. I was born at the beginning of 1944. So anyhow...
Didn't your father fight?
Yeah, my father fought in the Second World War, and he was away while my mother was pregnant with me, fighting against Hitler much no more. One of the Hamans and Hitlers and people like Bilam and Balak started from the time of Pharaoh in Egypt. They wanted to hurt the Jewish people. Pharaoh threw Jewish babies into the Nile. Who does that? He bathed in babies' blood. Who does that? And who was one of his advisors? Bilam, who comes up in this parsha. Bilam was one of the advisors who advised Pharaoh to bathe in Jewish children's blood. Is this a decent person? Is this the people we should follow, or the way that we are trying to show them to nurture children, teach them to love instead of, God forbid, the opposite, like some teach to hate? To teach a child to hate is beyond my ken. I can't understand it. My wife teaches children. What does she teach them? Love, respect for your parents, be kind to every human being in the world. You teach a child of 5, 6, 7 to shoot and kill and hate. Many people are doing it. They're still doing it today. Moab, Ammon, all these people, Midian, were brought up with tremendous hate. And this whole Parsha teaches us, is that what they tried to do? And they should have learned that anybody who starts with the Jewish people loses in the end. And they still carry on. They've got to be crazy. They've got to be crazy. Look what happened to Pharaoh. He started with the Jewish people, and boom. Look what happened to him. His army and himself drowned in the Sea of Reeds. I'm not going to go into all the details of the Midrashim on this, but that's what happened. Balak and Balaam. Balaam came to a terrible end. He was planning. Midian, who started with them for no reason. Yes, Yisro, there's always, as I said, good people. Yitro, the father-in-law of Moses, his children became incredible Jews, incredible people, incredible human beings, examples to this world, because they followed Moses. That's the lesson. Follow Moses, not the opposite, God forbid. So, Balaam wanted to curse the Jewish people. As I say, he wouldn't have been born if it wasn't for Yaakov. And certainly he wouldn't have learned his stuff, because Balaam was actually a descendant of Lavan, who Yaakov went to dwell with, and actually married Lavan's daughters. And Lavan also chased after him, and God said, don't start with the Jewish people. You would think that Balaam would learn. No. Balaam's hatred was so massive that it comes out of this part. It's crazy. Balak asked him to curse him. Whoa, he can't wait to get there. And Hashem tells him, can't go. But he's got a reason. He works his way round it and round and eventually goes. There's this strange story about the donkey, which I won't go into too much detail tonight. But eventually, he beats his donkey because he doesn't want to go through this area on the way to curse Israel. And eventually, he crushes his foot, the donkey, because there's the angel of Hashem, and the donkey, it's an example to teach us how to think. Balaam crushes his foot on the wall and becomes crippled from it, and he's still got to go on with his curse. And then Hashem tells him, you can't curse, it's going to come out as a blessing. And even his blessings, which were so beautiful, some of his blessings like Ma Tovu, comes from, that Ma Tovu, Ma Tovu. It's how beautiful are your tents of Jacob. It's telling how the people of Israel, how beautiful they are, and that they'll be blessed.
Like
right.
The window, no tents.
Right. No window faced each other, so they had this tremendous amount of moral goodness. The irony is that Balaam in the end so much wanted to hurt the Jewish people that he hit on one of their the only way that they could be hurt, really. Hashem doesn't like immorality. Idol worship, immorality, murder, robbery are out. And he got the woman of Midian and Moab, the Midianites. The Midianites wouldn't have been hurt. Eventually they were destroyed. They destroyed themselves from doing this. Did they learn? No. Did the people learn who came after them from it? No. I can't understand it. This is almost the unanswerable question. If you can show me anybody who would continue with something that's going to hurt themselves, I don't understand it. And we're getting it in the world today. I mentioned it. One of the girls last week asked me a question about what's happening in the world today. And I told her, there are certain groups that hate America. And America not only supplies them with aid, which is questionable, but gives them military weapons, massive amounts, 1 billion, 1.5 billion, the latest planes. And who are they giving it to? People who want to kill them and their children and grandchildren. Who would supply somebody who's going to murder their children and grandchildren?
Obama.
Obama. America. Not only Obama, America. I don't understand it. If you can get one person, and I'm not a politician, but if you can get one person in the political world to explain why they've behaved the way they have, For the last 50 years, I know they copied British and French policy, which failed terribly with the Muslim Arab world. Why would they not learn the lesson? Explain it to me. I want one person to explain it to me. How you supply people arms who want to murder you. Weapons to kill. I wouldn't supply them one gun. They've given them missiles that shoot down planes. They've trained their soldiers. What for? Why are they training them? To kill themselves? To kill their children? To kill their grandchildren? They've got to be crazy. And this is actually the lesson that they haven't learned yet. The Torah comes to teach us lessons throughout history so that we're supposed to learn from them. And it seems that we just don't learn, don't want to learn, can't learn. I don't understand it. As I said, if one person anywhere in the world can answer me these questions that have been clearly shown to them over the last 3,000 years plus, it was 3,300 plus years ago that this event with Bilam and Balak happened.
And they see over 3,000 plus years that we don't really attack them, and we're not really looking to get them.
Right. There's a modern example.
They always think that.
Nasser,
they think that all these Jews are coming to get us. We better get them.
Nasser of Egypt, Gamal Abdul Nasser of Egypt, was not good for the Coptic Christians in Egypt, started wars around him, attacked verbally for the first couple of years when he was in power. He attacked the Christians of Europe verbally. He's going to get. He became a strong man in the Arab world from attacking verbally the Christian world in Europe, and then he started with Israel. Israel had survived. The Jewish people had survived the Holocaust. They were building Israel, and here, what does he want to do? Destroy them. Trains his army, builds up his army, goes to America, goes to Russia, helping with weapons, and eventually it comes to the famous Six-Day War. What happens? He starts, he's got double the amount of planes, he gets Syria in on this horrible, wicked thing, because they can't wait. It's Muslim Arab behavior. Throughout history, there have been exceptions. There have been exceptions where there have been decent caliphs. Saladin, as I mentioned to you once before, in the time of Rambam, was a good Muslim leader. Good in many ways. More of a gentleman. But I'd rather talk about Torah than about these type of things and get locked in. Now, all I'm showing you is that what happened then is the lesson that pertains to this day.
That's very important.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're supposed to learn from history.
Absolutely. And as you know, one of my big fields is history. As you know, I once phoned in and told them if they're going to go in anywhere, they should go into Iran and not Iraq 10 years ago. And if they'd listened to me, many things would have changed in the world. But it seems people don't want to listen or don't know how to listen. Or, as I said, I can't explain it. I'd like somebody to explain it to me. One would think that, you see, Balak knew that Bilam had some kind of power, or thought he had some kind of power for sure, because Bilam had actually predicted that Balak would become a king, would become king of Moab. And it happened. Balak became king of Moab.
He was a great prophet, Bilam.
Bilam was a great prophet. See, Hashem has a whole balance of fairness to all people. Every human being in this world is his creature. All of us were created by Hashem. Everything in the universe was created by Hashem. Certainly us little people who walk around on this little earth. And I mean little, because in the universe you can't even see the earth. It's like a dot. Can you imagine what we are? Hashem, for his reasons, created us the way we are on earth. And he gave, as you know, many years ago, Abraham the Torah. He became the first Jew, and Abraham started following the Torah, and his children Isaac and Jacob started really following proper Torah. Of course, the Torah was only eventually given when we came out of Egypt from the Exodus, that we came out to cross the Sea of Reeds after the 10 plagues. We came out until we came to Mount Sinai, where the 10 Commandments and the Torah was given to Moses in the desert. And he taught it very carefully and clearly for 40 years. He spent 40 years being very careful and clear how he taught every word of Torah. He taught it to Aaron and his sons on one level. He taught it to Joshua on another level. He taught it to the elders on other levels. And of course, the whole of the nation had this incredible teacher, prophet, who was in, you could call it face-to-face contact with God. Of course, God doesn't have a face, but basically face-to-face contact. No other prophet has had that. But, as you said, Balaam was a prophet and he had equal potential, but he used it from the powers of Tumah instead of using it the pure way, which everybody should try and do or emulate.
I heard he knew that the time that Hashem would
Right, time of anger, yes, very good. Balaam knew the time of anger and Balak knew the place. But that wasn't the time and place, and it will never be the time and place. That lesson comes out, that lesson comes out very strongly in this parasha. And they won't learn it. So it's amazing, as I said, that he wanted to curse the Jews, but he actually ended up blessing them. The Zohar says his clarity of vision paralleled Moshe's. So as you said correctly, his power of vision equaled Moshe's. But because he did it from the powers of Tumah, and because he didn't do what he should do, he eventually lost his prophecy, and he eventually lost his life to the people he was trying to kill, or get killed. Unfortunately, at the end of this parasha, he comes up with a very wicked scheme. I'm going to jump a little bit, but this is the kind of thing, anything to hurt the Jews. As I say, on the way there, he hurt his foot, and he was running up the hill with his lame foot. He became blind in one eye. Nothing got through to him. He's got to carry on with this horrible, wicked, evil mission, like Hitler, same kind. Haman. Why would Haman start with the Jewish people in Esther and Mordecai's time? That's also over 3,000 years ago. Oh, from that, that's another lesson from over 3,000 years ago. Not as long ago as Balak and Balaam, but it's a lesson. Why would Sennacherib come? Why would Nebuchadnezzar do it? Why would any of these people keep... If you know the battles that happened from Moab, Ammon, Midian, you name it, again and again and again, until they destroyed themselves. They became obsolete. No. Later on, the Greeks tried it. The Romans, do you know any Romans or Persians? Or yes, you could say the guy can say I'm a Persian because he comes from the Iran area, but it's not really the Persians. And the Egyptians are not really the Egyptians. They've been run over many times over the years by different peoples.
Well, you don't see any Romans, any Greeks?
No, you don't see Phoenicians, you don't see any Assyrians, you don't see...
They all tried to destroy us, and they destroyed themselves.
That's right, exactly. Every one of them tried to destroy us, and they're all gone. And they still haven't learned the lesson. I'm astounded. I'm actually taken aback. I do not understand people who do not learn from history. I know I'm a historian, so it's easier for me to learn from or try and learn from history. But this continuous same evil plot against us, I've never understood. As I say, this is one of the first time it really comes out. And there's a beautiful part that comes out here that I can't wait for that time, that Hashem will personally teach us Torah after Mashiach comes. Of course, by that time the world will definitely start learning or learn. When Mashiach comes, they'll certainly learn. And after the rising of the dead, Techiyas Hameitim, it will be an incredible era. People will realize and see. But why wait till then? Hashem gave us brains, abilities to think, and we have to train to think in the right manner. One of the most important lessons in Torah is that everybody is given the abilities that they're given at birth. They're given a mind that will be such an intelligent mind that they can improve on their knowledge, and and Hashem will assist from above if they do a Torah sort of approach to it for sure. But the main choice that comes out, how tall they'll be, what color their eyes will be, what color, etc. The type of build they have naturally, the skeletal frame that they have. Excuse me. Each individual be who they are. But there's one big choice: to choose the good as opposed to the opposite, God forbid, the bad. That is the real crux of Torah. As I said to you, the many themes that have gone through, we've mentioned training the mind in the right direction, becoming humble, to really start learning it properly. Last week we did an amazing parsha, which was Chukas, which was the spiritual aspect of mitzvahs that is above our understanding. Every mitzvah has an element that is above our understanding. Every single one. We know we have to be kind, but you can reach a higher level of kindness and a higher level of kindness. You know you should respect and feed your parents in a nice manner, but there can be a better way of doing it, not just smiling, really loving your father, and making him so happy that you brought the meal, maybe playing some soft music behind him, maybe giving him a little Torah talk while he's eating. Something like that is a beautiful way to attend to your father. Yeah, believe me, every father wants to hear his son comes back from yeshiva with something good. So a time will come when everybody will say, what has been wrought for Israel? Look how beautiful it is. Look what Hashem has done for us. I, as I say, can't wait for that time. Going to read you something here from the Tiferes Tzion. Even the angels will inquire from us, for they want to know the secrets of the universe, how everything that God made in the universe. Even the angels don't know every secret, because only God knows every secret, everything, every angle of the universe, every grain of dust in the universe, certainly every mind in the universe. So they'll come to us to see the secrets of the universe, while we want to comprehend the Torah to its fullness. The fullness of Torah, to understand on this earth. That's the job of a Jew, and to teach it to everybody what the Torah can do for their lives. I think we should take a bit of a break, guys.
Can you read that again?
Yeah, I'll read it to you exactly.
Cut that out, just that, because it was a little bit disjointed the way you read it.
It says here, the Tiferes Tzion, who was an incredible commentator, says, even the angels will inquire from us, for they want to know God's work in the universe, while we want to comprehend Torah to its fullest. That's Torah, to understand Torah to the fullest of our ability. We have to really try and work at Torah so that we really comprehend it properly. That's the job of a Jew, and our job also extends to, as I said, all nations, all people should learn from these beautiful examples of Torah, how to behave as a human being. As I say, we've discussed them mainly in the past. I can't go through every single shiur, and this is our opening trial shiur with the camera, the first time we're doing it, so you'll excuse me for a few of these things. There's never been a prophet in the world like Moshe who really showed it because he stuck to the good. One other thing about the Jewish prophets, they not only came to the Jewish people to tell them to do good, but they came for every single person in the universe. As I say, I wish everybody would copy that for all people, as we have tried to show them to do throughout the ages. I think we can have a little bit of a break now and see how our first trial video came out. Thank you.
Shkoyach.